Picture the Earth over 66 million years ago. A vibrant alien world pulsing with life. Towering ferns stretched toward the sun and massive reptiles stalked the land. In the skies, pterosaurs soared like living kites, and below, the ground trembled, with the thunder of dinosaurs majestic, terrifying, and seemingly invincible. Creatures like Tyrannosaurus rex and Triceratops dominated every corner of the ecosystem. It was the golden age of dinosaurs. And then, it ended. Asterisk, a flash brighter than 1,000 suns. A fireball the size of a mountain slams into what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. In mere hours, the world was thrown into chaos shockwaves. Rippled through the crust, mega tsunamis swallowed coastlines, and a global firestorm consumed forests. But that was only the beginning. Dust, ash, and vaporized rock were blasted into the atmosphere, blocking out sunlight for months, maybe years. Photosynthesis stopped, temperatures dropped, ecosystems collapsed. And with them, 75% of all life on Earth vanished, including every non-avian dinosaur. Asterisk, but in the middle of this unimaginable destruction, something extraordinary happened. A few tiny feathered survivors, creatures no larger than a pigeon, clung to life in the shadows. And from those delicate remnants, an entire new dynasty would rise. Today, we call them birds. But in truth, they are the last living dinosaurs. Asterisk, welcome to Extinct World. In this episode, we journey into one of the most thrilling and inspiring chapters in the history of life on Earth, the mystery of the feathered dinosaurs. How did they evolve? Why? Did they have feathers? And most miraculously, how did they survive the apocalypse that wiped out their colossal cousins? Asterisk, to understand their story, we must go back long before the asteroid struck. Back to the late Jurassic, over 150 million years ago. Asterisk, at that time, dinosaurs had already ruled the Earth for tens of millions of years. But a quiet revolution was taking place, an evolutionary experiment that would change the course of history. Among the dense forests and swamps of what is now Germany, a strange fossil would later be unearthed. Archaeopteryx, discovered in 1861. In the limestone quarries of Solnhofen, it was unlike anything scientists had ever seen. It had wings and flight feathers like a bird, but also teeth, claws, and a long, bony tail like a reptile. Asterisk, it was the first fossil to show a clear link between dinosaurs and birds. Charles Darwin had just published On the Origin of Species 2 years earlier, and Archaeopteryx landed like lightning in the scientific world. Here was tangible physical proof of evolution. Asterisk, for decades, Archaeopteryx remained a singular curiosity. But starting in the 1990s, everything changed. Asterisk, in the fossil-rich deposits of Liaoning Province in northeastern China, paleontologists began unearthing exquisite remains of small, feathered dinosaurs. These weren't ancient birds, they were non-avian dinosaurs with feathers preserved in astonishing detail. Creatures like Sinosauropteryx, Microraptor, and Utaranus revealed that feathers were far more common in the dinosaur family tree than anyone had imagined. Asterisk, some of these animals had simple fuzz protofeathers that may have served as insulation. Others had elaborate plumage, even flight-capable wings. The four-winged Microraptor, for instance, had long feathers not only on its arms, but on its legs too, suggesting it could glide between trees like a prehistoric flying squirrel. Asterisk, but why? Would a dinosaur evolve feathers in the first place? Asterisk, the answer isn't simple. Feathers likely first evolved, not for flight, but for warmth. Many of the feathered dinosaurs discovered in China were small and probably warm-blooded. Insulating feathers helped them regulate body temperature, just as they do in birds today. Over time, feathers also became useful for display bright colors, courtship rituals, camouflage, and even intimidating rivals. Eventually, some species refined them for gliding, and later, powered flight. Asterisk, so feathers were not exclusive to birds. They were a widespread feature of an entire branch of the dinosaur family Theropoda, the group that includes Velociraptor, Deinonychus, and yes, the mighty T-Rex. In fact, juvenile T-Rex may have had a feathery coat, though adults likely lost them as they grew larger. Asterisk, this revelation rewrote our understanding of dinosaurs. No longer just scaly monsters, they were vibrant, complex creatures. Some may have looked more like giant birds than lizards, okay? And yet, this evolutionary marvel was not enough to save most of them. Asterisk, when the Chicxulub asteroid struck, it brought devastation that few organisms could survive. Forests were incinerated. Global temperatures plummeted. Acid rain poisoned oceans and lakes. Plant life died off en masse, which meant the herbivores starved, and so did their predators. The great lords of the Mesozoic perished in droves. Asterisk, so how did birds make it through? Asterisk, recent studies suggest that the only birds to survive were small, ground-dwelling species. They weren't the elegant flyers of the Mesozoic skies, like Ichthyornis, or the diving specialists like Hesperornis. Those species, along with most tree-nesting birds, disappeared with the forests. Asterisk, but some birds had evolved to live on the ground, foraging for seeds and insects. Seeds, being tough and durable, could survive in the soil even as vegetation withered. Insect populations, though disrupted, rebounded more quickly than plants or large prey animals. This dietary flexibility gave certain birds a critical advantage. Asterisk, moreover, these survivors were likely fast-maturing and able to reproduce quickly, traits that helped rebuild their populations in a world stripped bare. Some early post-impact. Birds like Vegavus and Asteriornis lived in aquatic environments where food sources may have been more stable. Asterisk, their small size also helped. Large animals with high energy demands were the first to go, but small-bodied birds could survive on less, find shelter easily, and adapt more rapidly to the changing world. Asterisk, and perhaps most importantly, they already had the tools of survival: keen vision, powerful beaks, agile movements, and the evolutionary legacy of the theropod's sharp intelligence and social behavior. Asterisk, what began as a narrow thread of life, almost severed, would flourish once the dust settled. Over millions of years, birds exploded in diversity, evolving into everything from songbirds and owls to penguins and parrots. Today, they are one of the most successful groups of vertebrates on the planet. Asterisk, every beak pecking at a seed, every pair of wings slicing through the sky, every birdsong echoing at dawn is a living echo of the dinosaurs. Asterisk, their skeletons still bear the hallmarks of their ancient lineage. The furcula, better known as the wish bone, existed in theropods like Velociraptor. Hollow bones for flight originated in the dinosaur era. Even the arrangement of toes, the nesting behavior, and the brooding of eggs under feathered bodies, these were all inherited traits. Asterisk, birds are not the descendants of dinosaurs, they are dinosaurs, the last living members of a once mighty lineage soaring in the wake of extinction. Asterisk, their survival wasn't about strength, it was about flexibility, timing, and extraordinary luck. The asteroid didn't kill all the dinosaurs. It left behind a blueprint for survival in feathers in flight. In the humble sparrow and the soaring eagle. Asterisk, when you watch a hummingbird hover with impossible grace, or see a hawk dive with pinpoint accuracy, you're witnessing the same evolutionary fire that once lit the eyes of a velociraptor. Asterisk, the age of dinosaurs never truly ended. It simply changed shape. Asterisk, and that's the enduring mystery of the feathered dinosaurs. Not how they vanished, but how, against every odd, they endured. Asterisk, if this journey through deep time moved you, inspired you, or simply filled you with wonder, we'd love your support. Like this video, share it with fellow explorers, And subscribe to Extinct World for more awe-inspiring adventures into our planet's ancient past. Asterisk, your curiosity keeps these stories alive. And the more we dig, the more wonders we uncover. Asterisk, until next time, keep asking questions, keep imagining the past, and, as always, keep digging.